Welcome to Live from Dennis's house, only on 474 The Mix, where the music matters. I'm your host, Dennis Morgillo, and each week we transport you back in time to a simpler time, to a happier time, when men were men, and the only stay-at-home dads were the drunk and the unemployable. When there was only 6 TV channels, and you were the remote control. Remember that? Your dad would smack you in the back of the head and say, "Get up, change channel 2, Kojak's on. Yeah, what are you doing?" So, yes, I'm going to transport you back to 1971, back to your basement, bedroom, rec room, attic, wherever you hung out as a kid listening to those vinyl albums. So dust off your old records and get ready for some fun memories. Today, we're spotlighting the 1971 classic album, L.A. Woman by The Doors. All right, so now we're going to say hello to the crew and to the guests. First, my complete crew tonight is Stephen Bello. Say hello, Stephen.
Hello, gang.
Because my co-host and my musical director are both out sick. Their mad cow disease has flared up again. So Dee Dee Pie and Cha-Cha are out. There was no room for them anyway. If you're watching this on TV, you'll see that we have a jam-packed studio here. There's like 17, 18 people in a room built for 4. So a lot of fun tonight. And say hello quickly to my guests, the Moroccan Sheepherders.
What's up?
Hey guys.
Let's quickly name everybody in the Moroccan Sheepherders. Raise your hand, but for the ones we have right now, raise your hand, starting with Steve, and say your name and position.
Hey, I'm Steve. I play the guitar for the Moroccan Sheepherders.
And everything.
Hi, everybody.
Next.
Yeah, I'm Alan Manzo. I'm a vocalist with the Herd.
I'm Scott Burton. I play bass.
Mike Sikowski. I'm the drummer.
I'm Laura. I'm a vocalist.
All right, welcome. So now we're going to get right into the Man About Town segment. This is what I do every week when I talk about the ridiculous things that I did during the week. So the first thing I want to talk about is Friday night I went to my daughter's dance event. And that's something that you have to do. And it turns out, it was at the policeman's ball, and my daughter's been taking dance for since she was 4, and she is an awesome dancer now. She got her rhythm from me, as you know, Stephen, because you guys probably didn't know that I worked my way through journalism school as a dance instructor on a cruise ship, doing like salsa and mambo.
That's
and
not what I heard.
And my specialty was the lambada, the forbidden dance, as you know. Yes.
The forbidden.
Yes. So, Stephen, that reminds me. What do you think is the more authentic version of mambo, the Weehawken or Canarsie style of mambo?
We're talking honeymooners now?
I was wondering if you would get that reference.
Absolutely. That was one of my favorite episodes of all time.
So, anyway, this is at the policeman's ball Friday night, right? And everybody... There's 500 speeches I had to listen to, and everybody's thanking everybody else in the whole town, right? So after about 4 hours of this, I fall asleep in my soup just to wake up in time for the dog catcher in the town, who is giving this stirring speech about the importance of giving your dog a flea bath, So it was just a ridiculous night. But I got to see my daughter dance, and that's what you must do as a father, because you know why? Because if you don't, she's going to end up on the pole, as Chris Rock says, right? So that's what you got to do. If you don't...
End up on the pole anyway.
No.
Might be where they want to be.
No way. There's no stripper whose father went to their
Love your daughter, you'll
things.
love her anyway.
She'll get better tips with dance skill.
Very good.
Mike has 4 daughters, by the way.
Are any of them...
Ended up on the pole.
The odds are in favor in that favor, yes.
Hey, that's not right. You can't
She'll
say
make
that.
money the other 3.
I know one of them is definitely. Just saying.
I hope you kids aren't going to be listening to the show.
It wouldn't matter anyway.
So then on Sunday, football day, it was a nice manly day. So you know what I did on football Sunday? I went antiquing with Cha-Cha in downtown Asbury Park.
So
what do you think of that?
It's ridiculous. Were you wearing the jacket?
No, I didn't have the jacket on. But, we went to the Antique Emporium. I'm sure a lot of people know that in Asbury Park, New Jersey. And I kind of love doing that stuff. Like, oh, crap, look at this, look at that, look at this. And check out this gem of an album that I got when I was there. This is Kung Fu Fighting by Carl Douglas. For those playing at home, you can't see.
And it's shrink wrapped.
Yes, it's still
Never
in the... I don't know. That's worth at least $1,500.
Or-
And I only paid $5 for it.
Or somebody got a shrink wrap machine. And re-shrink wrapped that.
1975, would you say?
Is it?
Yes,
Oh,
right
did you
around
see
that time.
Look at that.
Yes. See, the original cost $4.99. I paid $5 for it, so it was a good
Everybody
deal.
loves kung fu fighting.
Yes.
Fast as lightning.
So after the Antique Emporium, then I stopped for some coffee, for some Dutch coffee at the coffee place in town, America's Cup or whatever. Now, Dutch coffee, not to be confused with Dutch oven, Stephen. And Dutch coffee they make with like butter or something. It's like you got to eat it with a spoon. It's quite delicious, I must say.
Like the Dutch oven.
So, so to make up for all this on Sunday night, I had to then watch the Giant game and Walking Dead, so I could regain some of my testosterone back. So I'm back at my right level. Yes, and
Barbells and shooting a gun.
Punch the dog in the face. I know all about it.
all in my guinea tea, right?
Yeah.
So, all right. So now people have told me that I've become obsessed with Caitlyn Jenner and transgenders. So I've decided, yes, that this is going to be the first show where we do not bring up Caitlyn Jenner. We do not discuss her at all.
You just did.
Damn. All right.
Next week.
All right. Next week's definitely going to be the one where we don't talk about
Okay.
Caitlyn Jenner.
I'm looking
Got
forward
that?
to that.
All right.
I'll be back
So-
this week, so.
All right, what else you want to talk about? I got something interesting I want to talk about. That I was in a meeting today, and I saw the guy sitting next to me had sandals on with no socks, and he had these big, giant, nasty, gnarled toes with bunions and boils and
like Eric.
corns. And I said, "Oh my God, what are you doing?" And he said, "Well, I'm trying to make a stand because women get to wear sandals and they get to wear tank tops and all this stuff, shorts. They can wear whatever they want to wear."
They look good.
We get pedicures. Relax. Do you have any idea what we have to
Walking with the
do
Herman Munster.
to earn that right to wear short shorts and
Not that you
sandals?
shouldn't be able to do that also.
Right, yeah, equal
Get a
rights,
pedicure.
right? You know. So,
Don't get a pedicure. Do it. Just let it out, bro.
let your freak flag wave.
That's correct.
Yeah.
I
So,
vote no.
so you're against equal rights, Laura? Is that what you're saying?
That is not what I'm saying.
I just don't want to see your nasty feet.
I'm saying don't stick your nasty, overgrown yellow toes in my face. If you have that, put a sock on.
Wood floor is more important.
Yeah.
For men as well.
But I gotta say,
Wax it.
if we had room right now, I would take my shoe off
I mean,
and
grass. I'm sorry.
I would take my shoe off and show you that I actually have very nice feet. After, as a dancer, I was then a foot model after journalism school.
Many people
But
know that. I remember
the
that.
one thing is I have a giant Fred Flintstone toe, the big toe.
What do they say about that?
What do they say about Fred Flintstone toe?
Well,
Big
you know,
toe, big shoes.
Big sandals.
loose pants.
All right, enough of that nonsense now. All right, now let's meet our guests, the Moroccan Sheepherders. A round of applause, everybody. Yeah.
The crowd goes wild.
All right, so Steve, you are the leader of this band, so I'm going to let you do the talking.
Because
so.
nobody else wants to really lead it, I guess.
He's
but,
the big toe.
Yeah.
So if you want to talk about when did the band get together, first off, start with the name. It's a very interesting name.
No problem. I can do that.
Go ahead.
I've explained it many times. So let's see. Back in 1996, I'll give you the. I don't want to be too long-winded.
The Reader's
My
Digest
dad,
version?
My dad was a mortgage guy, and he was
Mortgage
doing
broker.
Scott, that guy over there, the good-looking guy across from me over there. He was doing his mortgage, and I guess he was asking him, what assets he had, and Scott said he has a studio. I had just moved into a house in 1996, and I had built myself a little studio. So my dad said, "Hey, next time I visit my son, I'll be the creepy guy and call you up and take you over to visit my son." So it was a little odd. And then even more odd was Scott said, "Sure, I'll go."
Yeah.
So
What's life without
one
a few
day
chances?
I got my guitar around me, and Scott appears at the door, and my dad introduces us, and we started playing in my studio. And then our good friend Craig Smith, my good friend for 30 years, who was a drummer, we got together, the three of us. We jammed for about 3 hours and just totally improvised jam for a good long time. And at the end of the jam, we said, what should we call ourselves? And Craig, this is another odd thing. Craig says, well, I was reading National Geographic magazine, which I didn't know you actually read that. But
Naked Zulu.
Yeah, there was an article on these Moroccan sheepherders in Morocco that all they do is they tend to their instruments. They tend to the flock while they play their instruments. So
there you go.
it kind of made sense.
Yeah,
So the Moroccan Sheepherders was born.
Nice.
And so the three of us, an old friend of mine who was a percussionist, he joined the band in 1997, 98. So from 1996 until 2008, we were a 100% improvisational band. We would get together in Scott's studio for 3 hours every week and just play for 3 hours, and we recorded everything. So we actually have 150 CDs worth of recorded music, which is true.
Well, it's just one song, right?
About 75 of it's pretty
so then,
good.
2008, we started playing my college singer, Mike Choi, joined the band as our singer, and we started doing covers. We had never done any covers at all our gigs in New York City.
What was the first cover we did?
Wharf Rat.
Wharf Rat, yeah.
Wharf Rat.
Nice.
Wharf Rat. Because it was a
And
little
then I think
jam.
Out on the Tiles was maybe second.
Out on the
maybe?
Tiles by Zeppelin. But we started playing at the Cold Snack Inn. And there was this scary-looking guy over in the corner, with a bald head, who came up to me and said, I sing The Doors. I'm like, okay, I'll let you sing. And he comes up to us, and I was not even a Doors fan. I mean, I was not a big Doors fan. Scott, Craig, and a bunch of other guys in the band, the other two guys were Doors fans. And he sang The Doors, and my eyes, we all were just like, what the hell? And he sounded exactly like Jim Morrison. He really got the feel of it. And from that point on, Alan was in the band. And then this pretty lady over here behind me, Laura, she joined the band in about 2009 after singing with us at the Dockside in Seabright. And that good-looking guy in the back, he joined us rather recently. He was our fill-in guy, but now he's a permanent herd guy.
He was just released from prison.
Yes. And so that's pretty much it. So now, Craig, our original drummer, is no longer with the band. He lives in Lancaster, Pennsylvania. It's 3 hours each way. So we were playing cover gigs. He would come out 3 hours each way, and he finally said it's too much for him. Right. We generally don't play covers in our gigs right now. But the thing that differentiates us from other...
We don't play originals.
I'm sorry, yeah. I'm sorry it's late. But yeah, we do all covers. But the thing is, with our covers, we actually jam on them. That's what I think differentiates us from any other cover band. Because, there's other bands out there that jam on them, but we don't take a 3-minute song. Like Break On Through, for example, we'll make it a 10-minute song. So wherever the music goes, Scott and I have a little mind meld going, and we just take it wherever it goes. And
yeah, that's for sure.
So that's pretty much the spirit of the Sheepherders, as I see it. We're a cover band, but we do like to jam on the songs.
That's cool. Now, I understand there's a lot of other people, too, a lot of other members of the band.
Yes. We got about 42 guys in the band. We got we have a three-man horn section, affectionately known as the Ram section.
Nice.
And get it, Sheepherders Ram. Yes. And then we have about 5 singers. We have Herbie Freeman, who's not here with us. He sings everything from Police to Marvin Gaye to
Black Sabbath.
Chicago. And we have Pat Murphy, who sings the higher register stuff. Boston. And he's at Boston
Chicago.
and some Chicago. We've got Laura, as you met. We got Darren Johnson. Darren sings a bunch of songs with the band. And I even sing a song or two. So we've got a bunch of singers.
Nice. And so does Mike. Mike
actually can sing as well.
Wow. Now we're going to talk about The Doors and L.A. Woman, the album that came out in 1971. So who is the Doors expert around here that wants to talk about it?
I think I'm qualified.
Is that you? Alan? Because I
want to point out one interesting data point, though. I think the first Doors song we ever sang, I sang it.
L.A.
Woman.
L.A. Woman.
And I had to relinquish that to Alan for obvious reasons.
Yeah, Scott actually sang L.A. Woman before.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
That's like when the Eagles, Don Felder wanted to sing Victim of Love, and then Glenn Fry smacked him and said, "Shut up, you can't sing. We have Don Henley back there." So
it was exactly like that.
So all right. I have a timeline here. We gotta, we don't want to do the whole thing, but give us the Reader's Digest version of everything you know about the Doors, starting how they met, Jim and Ray.
Well, Jim was supposed to go to New York. It had to be 1965. Ray Manzarek came walking down the beach and he met Jim. And Jim goes, "Hey
Right.
man, I've been writing some songs." And he says, "Can you sing me one?" Ray said, and he sang a Moonlight Drive. And he
Nice,
says,
yes.
"Hey, that song we can make $1 million with.
That's it. We're
Let's get
forming a
going."
band,
Did not know
right?
that.
And we went from there.
Yeah. And then they ended up, because Jim had actually never sung before.
Never.
And they had first met when they were in UCLA film
Film
school, right?
yes.
And then they ran into each other on the beach. So then they ended up getting signed by Elektra in '66. And the thing I found most interesting is they were rehearsing, and Jim said, "All right, let's take the weekend and do some homework, and everybody write a song and come back on Monday with a song." So nobody else did it except Robbie, who shows up with "Light My Fire,"
Yes.
the first song he ever wrote. in
Arguably is
his
the
life.
most popular song of Doors
Yes,
history.
and it was
It's kind of
just
ironic that he wrote it.
It was just because he wrote a lot of their songs, Robbie.
Yeah,
actually.
he wrote a lot of the hits.
And it was just Ray's intro riff on the key is amazing on that song. And
And that was actually, that song knocked the Beatles out of #1.
oh, really?
And I think it held it for 6 weeks, and then the Beatles took it back.
Yeah.
But the Beatles had it for like 5 years straight.
Yeah. So then they were the house band at the Whiskey A Go Go until Jim said the F word during the song
End.
The End, right? And they got thrown out. And the guy called him. He said, "You're a sick SOB. Get out of my club and don't come back." Because, that song is quite dark and disturbing. It's, the Oedipus. Yeah,
Yeah, we're going to cover it
So-
next summer.
You should do that at the event next year. And then they got on Ed Sullivan, right? And Ed Sullivan told him, don't say the word higher, right?
Yeah.
So, of course, what does Jim do? He looks right into the camera and says higher. Ed loses his mind, throws him off the show. And
So
'cause
you'll
they
never
had, like-
play the Ed Sullivan show again, and,
Right.
and he said, "No problem, we just played it."
Yeah, exactly. Yes. And then they had all these arrests. Jim had all these arrests. In '67, it was
Haven.
New Haven, Connecticut, and then in '69 in Miami for indecent exposure. And that
Supposedly,
really,
purportedly, yeah.
right? Because there was no actual pictures of it at the trial, though. And it. Right, of course, but no, because I don't think he
With
actually
Photoshop,
did it.
yeah.
He's actually pardoned now. They had him pardoned.
Yes, I heard
Yeah,
that.
he's back.
The
But-
governor of Florida, pardon the
Back
yeah.
in November 1970, the trial ended, and he was found guilty and sentenced to 6 months in jail. But he appealed the case, and he was freed. But he actually died before the case came back. But Jim was not a good drunk. He had a severe drinking problem, which he added cocaine to the mix, and it turned out really bad. And did you ever hear the story about the time him and Janice met? That it was at a party, the King of Rock with the Queen of Rock. So it was at a party at John Davidson, the game show host. Anybody know who he
Yeah,
was?
Hollywood Hills.
Yes, and
that's crazy.
right. So
Yeah.
they met, and everybody thought, "Oh, this is going to be such a great thing." And Jim got completely drunk, insulted Janice, and grabbed her hair, put her head down at his crotch.
Right to the crowd.
Right. And
Alan
she
was
went
actually there. Alan was actually there at that party.
And then she smashed. She smashed him over the head with a bottle
Southern
of
Comfort.
Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely.
That's right.
So, and then while all this was going on, back in December 1970, yes, that means the time is up. That's the 30-minute mark, but we're going over tonight. So,
Oh boy.
December 1970, they got back together to record L.A. Woman, and they recorded it in 6 days. Jim was in good spirits. They brought in Elvis Presley bass player Jerry Sheff,
Sheff,
right?
yes.
And because Jim was a huge Elvis Presley fan. And they had a rhythm guitarist, and they got back to the basics, to the roots, to the blues. And the producer left, Paul Rothschild. He said he hated Love Her Madly. And
He didn't like Riders on the Storm either. He thought it was cocktail music.
Yeah. So they ended up producing it themselves with the engineer, Bruce Botnick. And in December 12th, with the Doors' final live performance at the
Warehouse in New Orleans.
Very good. And it was just a disaster. Jim was completely drunk, and it was a terrible show.
He was
And they
also
said-
on opium.
Right. He ate like a big piece. Somebody gave him on the way in and something, so he was a mess. And that's it. They said no more of that. So
Next gig.
now let's actually talk about the album now. Doors, L.A.
It is.
Woman.
Yeah.
Yeah, Laura, you want to hold that back there?
Okay.
That this album came out in April 1971 to huge critical and commercial success. Some say it's their best album. Does everybody agree with that?
Yes, I think it is.
I love it. Everybody? It has classic after classic. LA Woman, Riders on the Storm, Love 'Em Madly, Texas Radio, etc.,
The Wasp.
etc.
Don't forget the Wasp.
Yes, yes. It's just a great, great album. And after this came out, Jim left for Paris.
He actually left before the mixing was done on the record too. So
yeah,
he really said I have to get out of here, and he went to Paris to try and clean up
with his girlfriend.
His girlfriend Pamela.
Right.
Pamela Corson.
He never came back.
Yeah, on July 3rd, 1971, he was found
So
dead
he
in the
never heard the
bathtub.
mixed version. He never heard the final version.
No.
Wow, that's crazy.
So he was 27, and it's said he died of natural causes, heart failure, which, when a 27-year-old dies, it's very rarely natural causes. So there's lots of rumors and conjecture and stories about what's going on. Is he still alive? Was he murdered? All this kind of stuff. So I find it highly unlikely that he's still alive, though. Do you believe
No, he's
that
dead.
theory?
Elvis? No,
Yeah. So what do you think? What do you think he'd be doing if he was still alive now? I think that he'd be scratching at the coffin that they buried him in, saying, "Let me out of here." But anyway, other people say that drug dealers killed him and put him in the bathtub. But what I think is the most likely story is that because Pamela was a heroin addict, so I believe that Jim accidentally snorted her heroin when he thought it was cocaine.
Correct. I believe the same thing. He walked in on her, and he said, "What is this?" And she said, "Jim, it's coke." Rather than tell him what it was,
Because he never
he
liked
never
her
did
doing
heroin.
that, right?
He did one big blast of the heroin. That was the end of it.
Yeah,
It's sort of like the scene in Pulp Fiction.
Oh, yeah.
Right.
That's what happened.
We didn't have any
They
adrenaline
didn't have
on
that
hand.
needle. Yeah, right.
How come that didn't happen when I did it?
You're a robot.
Yeah. All right. So now, what do you think about Jim Morrison? Do you think he's the most handsome rock star of all time?
Alan Manzo.
I think he's smoking.
No, I'm not commenting.
Or maybe Eric Saka.
What do you think, Laura? Laura, do you think Jim Morrison's sexy or what?
All right, Laura.
Yeah, he was definitely sexy. I had many Jim Morrison posters.
Hold up that picture over there, Laura.
Wait.
Many sessions.
So,
I wasn't even born.
for those of you
He
playing
died
at
like
home,
months before I was born.
for those of you playing at home, we're holding up this this poster that I have from when I was a child, and it's shining in the light. But
No, I
get rid of
had.
it.
There it is, there it is.
And
He's
Look,
obviously tripping.
We
in
got
that
the
photo.
book. I got all this
That's the poster
Doors.
I had from.
I'm a
no one
huge
could get that.
Doors
I
fan.
read that book.
Yeah, so I've been wanting to do the Doors album for a long time. So thank you for bringing that on here. It was a nice treat. So the Doors, they were only together for 54 months, but in that time they released 6 classic albums.
Yeah.
Now, Alan, extra credit to you if you can name all albums in order.
All right.
Order.
The Doors, Strange Days, Waiting for the Sun, Soft Parade, Morrison Hotel, LA Woman.
And don't forget Absolutely Free. Don't forget Absolutely Free.
Absolutely
And
Live.
American
No,
Prayer.
just the
I'm
studio
sorry,
albums.
Absolutely Live. And
I
then
only
American
count the
Prayer.
studio albums. Anything they recorded after doesn't count. None of that stuff.
No weird
So-
scenes behind the goal line.
Well, that's up there too. I got all those
Yeah,
albums
that's a
up there,
collection.
you know.
That's the
But
double album.
yeah, it's in there under D for Doors. So yeah, of course. Yeah, of course it is.
Great.
So, but even though whether you think he's the most handsome rock star or not, most people would say he was one of the greatest frontmen of all time.
Yeah.
He was basically insane, I think, and that he influenced everybody who ever sang after that, especially
He influenced
people like
Iggy Pop.
Iggy Pop,
Oh, yeah.
exactly. Iggy says that's one of, and you can see it.
Why do
You know,
think Alan's so good at it?
yes.
Alan takes his shirt off. He just
Took my
You
hair off.
expose yourself
takes
too.
his hair off. Oh, he
You want to see it?
So they sold over 100 million albums, and they're still selling like 1 million a year to this day. Even my 14-year-old daughter loves them.
Oh,
You know,
yes.
and that's the
Watch
thing
out.
about Jim. Jim is going to be forever 27.
Yep.
That's it. He's never going to get older. He's never going to put out any crappy music. That's it. It's
So what's the
over.
secret about the 27 year? There's a lot of rock
Yes,
stars that died
that
at
was-
27,
that
right?
was a
right.
bad
Can you
time.
name them all?
Let's see. But first, I want to say that right in that 1 year period, Jimmy died, Jimi Hendrix, then Janis Joplin died, then Jim Morrison, all like in a year period.
Brian Jones.
So now the 27 Club. All right, let's see if I can name them. Like you said, it was Brian Jones.
Actually, the same date as Jim Morrison, July 3rd. He died the same
Oh
day.
yeah, right. and Amy Winehouse is in it. Kurt Cobain. How many should I name? How many is there? I don't know.
Jeff Buckley, I think, was
He
27
doesn't
as
count.
well, right?
Nobody knows who he is.
His father maybe in this genre. Tim Buckley. Yeah.
All right. So that's it. All right. Now, what about the greatest American rock band of all time?
Were you asking us?
Yes, I'm saying Led
Zeppelin's
Zeppelin.
not an American
Get him out of the audience.
That's easy. Aerosmith.
Right. See, some people say Aerosmith. They're a little different. But
Grand Funk.
I'd say no. I'm going with the Doors.
The Doors.
Yes.
I mean, Doors would be number one, but I think a close second would be Aerosmith.
Yeah, Aerosmith.
Maybe third would be Grand Funk.
What about One Direction?
There you go. That's a good one. One Direction.
There you go.
What about the
All right.
MC5?
Oh, you know what time this is?
Good
It is
point.
now
That'll be
time
next
to
week.
Smell the album.
Yay, it's my favorite
Smell the
part of
glove?
show.
You smell that? It'll take you back to a child in your mom's house, listening to records, smoking
I can
weed.
still smell the dope in it.
Yeah, right.
Exactly.
Smells like vomit and Southern Comfort.
Smells like attic.
Pass it
Blackberry
all
brandy.
around. All right. So now,
Smells like Alamanzo.
all right.
And then
Hold
you
on,
pass
hold on now.
Why?
All right, everybody, smell it.
it. Smells like attic. Yes.
Yeah.
Pass it around to the audience when you get a chance. All right, now hold on.
To the studio audience.
People back there, calm down now. All right, now we're going to talk about what's happening in the world. We got to move fast here, but a woman sues her 8-year-old nephew. Did you hear about this?
Yeah.
Jennifer Connell, 54, who lives on Manhattan's Upper East Side, went to her nephew's birthday party in 2011, and the kid was 8 at the time. And he was so excited to see her, he ran and jumped into her arms, and she fell down and broke her wrist. So now Connell is suing the boy, who is now 12, and whose mother just recently passed away. So now Connell testified that the boy did not act responsibly. Has an 8-year-old ever acted responsibly in his life? So she said the broken wrist caused her long-standing problems. Now listen to this. Just recently, she was at a party, and it was difficult to hold her plate of hors d'oeuvres. Oh, the horror!
Well, the jury, they know caused her.
Right,
So, yeah, they just said.
The jury said, "Get out of here! You're crazy," and that's it. So they're now calling her Antichrist now. Yeah.
What was she
so-
going to get from a 12-year-old kid?
Well, I think she sues the parents too. Yeah, whatever.
Goes on the homeowners.
All right, now
hate
the
that lady.
next story I want to talk about that Steve brought up before: is no nudes is bad nudes. Playboy is no longer going to have naked ladies on it.
I know. It's ridiculous.
Hugh Hefner, they actually asked him, and Hugh Hefner said it's fine. You know,
Well, he's 97 now. He doesn't
Don't
know.
care anymore, right?
I've seen enough nudes.
Never.
I always think about it. Is anyone even looking at Playboy anymore? With,
Exactly. I
free
think
porn on
that's
your phone?
that's the deal here.
I thought it was a little creepy. When I was like 14, 15 years old, I went to my neighbor's house, and his father kept Playboys just out by the fireplace, just like.
Nice.
Yeah, I
And
know
I'm like-
guys like that too.
I try to steal them,
like
obviously, but,
Yes.
but I'm like, stole.
Yeah, that was
know
a
you
little-
stole it.
yeah, I remember that too.
Steve, stop now.
Yeah, right. You still have those magazines?
Yeah, of course,
A couple of those pages are still
I
stuck
bought the
together.
house for a lot higher price than it.
Because they're not
All
going
right.
to have nudes anymore.
Yes. So I don't know what to even make of that, but I have the jacket on. You Hefner's
really
on
said
it
they read
today,
the
and
articles.
yes, I'm going to have naked ladies on this show starting next week.
Sorry. No,
Kate-
no, I'll be here next week. Whoa,
Caitlyn Jen is the first
hey.
one on the list, so I'm allowed to talk about it one more
We're
time.
going to discuss my fee later.
All right, so the last story I want to talk about is in Connecticut, the school board tried to take away Halloween. They said that some kids who don't celebrate Halloween are going to be offended by it. So you can't have a Halloween parade. You can't dress up. You can't do anything for Halloween.
What is going on with this world?
Exactly. These sons of bitches.
Who doesn't celebrate
But-
Halloween? Huh?
They're Muslims,
You know,
right?
different nationalities and things.
okay.
We're not allowed to say that word. but
Muslim May.
Somebody's
Like,
got to start
I-
saying
It's a pagan holiday.
Seventh-day Adventist, Jehovah's or somebody. Yeah.
Oh.
So, but anyway, there was an uproar in the town. The parents all stormed the embassy, and
They
they
stormed the
took it. They
embassy?
took Halloween back, so
Awesome.
they will be
Yeah,
celebrating
yeah,
it.
no.
See?
And that's going
That's
to
the way it
be
should be.
a major motion picture next
Yes.
Yes.
year. Hollywood is going to
Halloween.
jump all over that. Parents, take Halloween back.
All right,
Storm the
so
embassy.
we're way over time here now. So you guys want to talk about any gigs upcoming? Anything you got going on?
Yes.
You want to talk about?
Yes, this Saturday, after Oktoberfest at the C Street Highlands, the Sheepherders are playing a 2-hour show from 4:30 to 6:30 p.m. 2 hours.
Very
That's October
nice.
17th.
In and out, October 17th, Saturday night. And I want to also mention a huge show. Eric Sofka from the Metal Reband actually is joining us. He's over there. You can't see him. But his
In the
band
audience.
is playing with Colossal Street Jam and Taylor Tote. Metal Ree's the headliner on the 30th of October at the Stone Pony.
Yeah, big show, big show.
Eric's going to
stuff.
dazzle you with his fingers.
A lot of stuff going on here. All right. Anybody else got anything before I wrap this up?
McMuffin, you got something?
That's McMuffin.
That's our studio audience member.
Yes.
Can I
All
just
right.
tell you about what happened to my wife?
Sure.
She was diagnosed with multiple personality disorder,
Right.
and just my luck, not one of them is willing to have sex with me.
But I'm bummed. Oh, yes.
I'm not
I
even
forgot.
married.
We were
That's
running
not
short on time, so I forgot to introduce Stephen Shecky Bello and his joke of the week. So, very good. But thanks for joining us here on Live from Dennis's House, only on 474 The Mix, where the music matters. See you next week when I'll be doing another classic album and behaving badly. Like me on Facebook, subscribe on YouTube, check out my new website, DennisMorgillo.com. Oh, one thing that I have to do before we wrap it up, there's an interesting article in the newspaper about this guy here. Let me read it to you. Software engineer and TV and radio host of Live from Dennis's House, Dennis Morgillo, answered the door in high-top Chuck Taylors and a button-down shirt not quite buttoned up all the way, with a smile that reaches his eyes and an assortment of inked characters up and down both arms. He falls between a well-respected man and he's a rebel. In his younger years, he perhaps resembled Kiefer Sutherland in The Lost Boys.
Did you pay? How much did you pay for that?
Look at
Yeah,
that.
you're kidding me. Come on.
Full page
What are you
profile.
It's
No
an
way.
inside job
Look,
if ever I saw
you're
it.
in there too.
Wow. Does your mother work at the paper?
You're there, and
Oh,
you made the picture.
Oh, never mind.
Now, yeah.
Now it's all good. Now it's all
So,
good.
Well, that's why you look so handsome, because you look like me.
and you even pushed Dee Dee out of the picture. You see that?
Yeah, I remember doing that.
Yeah. So go buy that as a co-star, and I'm actually going to be featured in another
Nice.
newspaper in
I
a
didn't
couple
know it was
weeks.
on
I'll
there.
do that too. So the radio show airs Fridays at 5 p.m., repeated on Sundays at 11 a.m. TV show airs Sunday at 9 a.m. All social media, DennisMorgillo.com.